There's a moment right before the cameras cut away where Kelly Clarkson stops singing entirely. She just breathes. And that breath, it sounds like someone drowning.
I make the same mistakes that you did.
20 years ago, she wrote this song about her father leaving. Yesterday, she wasn't singing about the past anymore. She was singing about right now.
Then it's goodbye time.
See, when the person who makes you feel safe says, "I'm leaving," it doesn't matter how famous you are.
I must be dreaming, you're gone.
You're suddenly 16 years old again, sitting on your bedroom floor, wondering why everyone you love walks away. What really happened between Kelly, Blake, and Gwen? The answer is hidden in one changed lyric. And I'm going to break it all down.
Because of you, I am afraid.
Did you catch that? She changed the verb. She didn't say was. She sang, "Because of you, I am afraid to trust." She dragged the trauma from 20 years ago right into the present moment. And by the time she hit the bridge, her hands were shaking so badly, the camera operator had to zoom in just to hide the fact that she was struggling to hit the keys. She wasn't performing anymore. She was breaking down. And to understand why she cracked open live on air, we have to talk about the empty chair that is about to be left on The Voice. We have to talk about Blake Shelton. You see, we tend to think of celebrities as these untouchable figures who just swap jobs and move on without a care. But for Kelly, Blake wasn't just a co-star. He wasn't just the funny country guy sitting next to her making jokes about her jacket. In the chaotic, messy world of Hollywood, Blake was the dad figure she never really got to keep. He was the protector, the big brother, the guy who made the set feel safe. When you have abandonment issues deeply rooted in your childhood, you latch onto people who feel like solid ground. Blake was the solid ground.
You say it's different now, and you keep staring at the door.
It is absolutely terrifying when the solid ground starts to move beneath your feet. When Blake announced he was leaving the show, the narrative was all about his happy ending. Everyone said he's going off to live his farm life. He's retiring from the red chair. He's riding into the sunset. But nobody asked what happens to the people left behind in the studio. Nobody asked how Kelly felt watching the only consistent male figure in her daily work life pack up his boxes. It triggers something psychologists call re-traumatization. It's not that she's grieving a coworker, she's reliving the original loss all over again. Imagine being a little kid again. The person who makes you feel safe says, "I'm leaving." And suddenly, you aren't a 40-year-old superstar with a talk show. You're the 16-year-old girl writing sad songs on the floor again. That is why the tense changed. I am afraid. Because the safety net is being pulled away right now. And to make matters even more complicated, you have to look at the third person in this triangle. You have to look at Gwen Stefani.
You know it was the best thing that ever happened to you.
Gwen and Kelly have been friends for years. They have shared the stage, shared the tears, and shared the stories of their public divorces. Gwen wrote "Used to Love You" when her world fell apart with Gavin Rossdale. She was in the same darkness that Kelly is walking through right now. But here is the cruel twist of fate. Gwen found the light at the end of the tunnel. She found Blake. She got the fairy tale ending, the wedding, the stability, the whole package. Kelly is watching her two best friends ride off into their happily ever after while she is left sitting at the piano alone. It is a specific type of pain to be genuinely happy for your friends, while simultaneously feeling the silence of your own life get louder. It's like watching everyone else board a lifeboat while you're still standing on the sinking ship. You wave goodbye, you smile, you wish them well, but the water is rising around your ankles and it's getting cold.
'Cause it got me here, but I don't wanna waste another one.
This is where the cracks really start to show. Usually Kelly closes her shows with empowerment tracks. She sings Stronger. She sings Miss Independent. She wears the armor of the strong single mom who doesn't need anyone. That is the brand, right? That is what we expect from her. But yesterday, she stripped the armor off completely. She went back to the deepest wound she has and she reopened it live. Why would she do that? Why choose that song on that day? It wasn't just a random setlist choice, it was a cry for help. She was admitting, without ever saying his name, that the man who once made her feel safe enough to sing Piece by Piece The song about healing is now the reason she is reverting back to because of you. It's a regression, and it is painful to watch because we have all been there. We have all had that moment where we thought we were over it. We thought we were fine. And then one person leaves, one phone call doesn't come, and suddenly we are right back at square one. The irony of that lyric is gut-wrenching, isn't it? He never walks away. She believed it when she wrote it. She believed she had found the permanent things in life. But life has a nasty habit of proving us wrong. Her marriage ended. Her daily routine with Blake is ending. The pillars are falling down one by one. And when she sat at that piano yesterday, she wasn't singing to the audience. She was looking up, eyes wet, searching for something that wasn't there anymore. The director knew it too. Usually on a talk show, if a host gets emotional, they zoom in. They milk it for ratings. They want the tears because tears go viral. But this was different. This felt too raw. It felt like we were intruding on a private therapy session. You could see the panic in her eyes when she couldn't catch her breath. She stopped singing for a second, just let the piano ring out and tried to compose herself. Most people didn't notice the cut. They didn't notice that the segment ended 45 seconds earlier than scheduled. They just went to commercial. But if you look closely at the raw footage, you see a woman who is terrified. She is terrified that the cycle is repeating. She is terrified that no matter how successful she gets, people always leave. And that fear, that is what changed the lyrics. It wasn't a mistake. It was a correction. There is something deeply human about watching a superstar lose their composure like that. We spend so much time looking at their polished photos and their perfect PR statements that we forget they bleed the same way we do. Kelly Clarkson has arguably one of the best voices in the world. She can sing anything. But yesterday she couldn't sing this. She could barely whisper it. And the whisper was louder than any belt she has ever done. But here is where it gets really crazy. If you analyze the timeline of when this episode was taped versus when Blake's final episodes were being filmed, the overlap is chilling. This wasn't just about him leaving the show, it was about the finality of it. It was about the realization that the family they built on set was dissolving. And for someone like Kelly, who cherishes family above everything because she knows what it's like to lose one, that dissolution is a nightmare. We need to talk about what happened immediately after the song ended, or rather what didn't happen. Usually she jokes. She laughs it off. She makes a self-deprecating comment to lighten the mood. Yesterday, she just sat there. She stared at the keys. The silence was deafening. And that silence told us more about her relationship with Blake Shelton than any interview they have ever done together. It was the silence of a sister realizing her big brother isn't going to be there to protect her on the playground anymore. The silence that followed that performance wasn't just awkward television. It was the sound of a reality check crashing down hard. When the director cut the feed to commercial 45 seconds early, it wasn't a technical glitch or a mistake. It was a mercy kill. They had to cut away because Kelly Clarkson, the unbreakable Miss Independent, looked like she was about to shatter into a million pieces right there on stage. And honestly, you can't blame her for feeling that way. Think about the timing of all this. Kelly is currently navigating the aftermath of a very public, very messy divorce from Brandon Blackstock. That alone is enough to drown anyone. But during that entire stormy process, who was the anchor at her workplace? Who was the guy making her laugh in the big red chair? It was Blake. He was the consistency in the chaos. He was the reminder that good men still exist, that laughter is still possible. And now that anchor is being hoisted up. He's leaving. It triggers a specific kind of panic called cumulative grief. It's when a new loss, even a smaller one like a friend leaving a job, unlocks all the old losses you haven't fully processed yet. It piles up. The divorce, the childhood abandonment, the pressure of being a single mom, and now the loss of her on-set work husband. It's too much weight for one bridge to carry. And yesterday, we watched the bridge buckle under the strain. Let's go deeper into the lyric change because it's not just about verb tense. It's about ownership. When Kelly sings, "Because of you, I was afraid," she is pointing a finger at her father. She is saying, "You did this to me, but I survived." It's an accusation. But when she changed it to "I am afraid," she turned the finger back on herself. She is admitting that the damage is active. She is admitting that despite all the therapy and the success, she is still that scared little girl. It forces us to look at the lyrics of Piece by Piece in a completely new, heartbreaking light. That song was her redemption arc. It was her saying, look, I fixed it. I found a man who stays. I found a father for my children who won't leave. She built her entire emotional stability on that premise. And then he left too. The irony is cruel. The song that was supposed to be her victory has turned into a ghost story. Imagine having to sing those songs every night on tour. Imagine having to sing about how you healed while you were actively bleeding. That is the cognitive dissonance Kelly is living in. And yesterday, she just couldn't fake it anymore. She couldn't put on the mask. She let the mask slip, and underneath it, we saw the raw, unfiltered grief of a woman who feels like she is losing everyone she trusts. And the audience, man, you could feel the shift in the room. Usually when Kelly hits a high note, the crowd goes wild. They scream, they clap, they cheer. But during this performance, the room went dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. They knew. Even the people in the back row who couldn't see her tears knew that something was wrong. The energy shifted from entertainment to witnessing. They were witnessing a breakdown. It makes you wonder about the conversations that happened backstage. Did Blake see this? Did Gwen? We know they are close. We know they text constantly. But there is a difference between texting your friend, "I'm sad," and watching them fall apart on national TV because you are leaving them. It adds a layer of guilt and complexity to Blake's departure that nobody is talking about. He's allowed to leave. He's allowed to be happy. But his happiness has a cost, and Kelly is paying the bill. This is the dark side of the work-family dynamic. We spend more time with our coworkers than we do with our actual families sometimes. We build bonds, we rely on them. And when that dynamic ends, it's a breakup. It's a divorce of a different kind. For Kelly, losing Blake on The Voice is like losing the fun uncle who made the family reunions bearable. Without him, the dynamic changes. The safety changes. The show becomes just a job again. And let's be real, Kelly doesn't need another job. She has plenty of money. She has plenty of fame. She does the show for the connection. She does it for the people. If the people leave, what is left? Just the empty chairs and the echo of old songs. That's why she looks so lost. She wasn't just looking for the next note. She was looking for a reason to keep playing the game when the rules had suddenly changed on her. There is a moment in the video right before the cut where she takes a breath. It's a shaky, jagged breath. It sounds like she is drowning. That sound, that is the sound of 20 years of progress being tested. It's the sound of realizing that Stronger is just a song, but heartbreak is a lifestyle. It was the most honest moment of television I have seen in a decade, hands down. So why does this matter to you? Why should we care about a celebrity crying over a friend? Because it validates our own regressions. It shows us that healing isn't a straight line. You don't just climb the mountain and plant a flag and stay there forever. Sometimes you slide back down. Sometimes the ground crumbles. And seeing someone as powerful as Kelly Clarkson admit that she is still afraid gives the rest of us permission to be afraid too. She didn't try to hide it. Well, she tried, but her heart wouldn't let her. And that is why we love her. She could have asked the producers to retape the segment. She is the boss, right? It's her name on the building. She could have said, "Cut, let me do that again," with a smile. But she didn't. She let it air. She let us see the cracks in the foundation. Maybe she wanted Blake to see it. Maybe she wanted him to know exactly how much his leaving hurts. Or maybe she just forgot the cameras were there at all. Maybe for 3 minutes she was just a woman at a piano, grieving the loss of her safety net. We often talk about viral moments as these calculated PR stunts, but this wasn't calculated. This was accidental honesty, and those are the moments that stick with you. The moments where the script gets thrown out the window and real life crashes through the screen. Kelly Clarkson changed one word, just one little verb, and told us an entire story of loss, love, and the terror of being left behind. Some hearts don't break. They just go backward. They retreat to the last time they felt this way. For Kelly, that was 16 years old. And watching her struggle to breathe through that song, you just wanted to reach through the screen and tell her it's going to be okay. But the tragic part is, maybe it won't be. At least not for a while. Because when the person who helps you feel brave walks away, you have to learn how to be brave all over again. And that is the hardest lesson to learn twice.